It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Welcome in to Cats Talk Wednesday. It's Wednesday again, TB, and it's time for us to do what we do on the VS3 Network, man. How we doing?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself, man?
Can't complain. Can't complain. We waiting to see how the Cats are doing the next big game, but in the meantime, we got a volleyball team that's just handling business and defending the home court, and Craig Skinner is at the Fifth Third building and in fighter jets and promoting the team any way possible, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Best team on campus.
Did you see him in the Top Gun jet, man?
Hey, to the victor goes the spoils. I think if they win another championship, he might be on the space shuttle.
Hey, that's it. That's it. Well, we got a friend of the show back here. It's his time of year. He's lost count how many times he's come on with us through the years talking volleyball. That's how we met our guy, because he watches the tournament time right now. Is his time coming to us from the West Coast. Got to talk about his Chargers too, beating them Eagles. Have to get that in because that made me happy. Teran Rodriguez, host of Set Pointe. Teran, man, appreciate you hopping on with us. How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you, gents, for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure to have you with us, taking the time to enlighten us on volleyball. And as Terry likes to say, and I agree with him, that's the best team on Kentucky's campus year in and year out, man.
Oh, yeah. They're doing great guns. They've been really impressive. Won 24 in a row. And honestly, they are a pretty big threat to winning the national championship. I know everyone talks about Nebraska, but personally, I think Kentucky is a close second in terms of winning the national championship. But they got a lot to do in order to get there. They got to make it to the national championship first.
Mm-hmm. And hosting at home helps. That's a start, right?
Oh, yeah. They've got home court advantage through the regionals, which is big right there.
Yeah. And they already took care of Wofford and UCLA in the first two. What did you think about them in those first two opening rounds?
I knew they'd handle Wofford for the most part, but UCLA, look, if the Bruins had any sort of pride, they would not want to have gotten rolled up. They wouldn't have gotten steamrolled. So obviously the third set, they knew they needed to come out swinging, come out with one last-ditch effort, and they did. Unfortunately for UCLA, the Bruins just did not have enough in the tank, and Kentucky, I thought, just handled business as always. So I think Kentucky kind of got their first true test because UCLA wasn't a bad team. Some will just look at their losses and say, why did they have double-digit losses? But that team is really stacked with players like Mariana Singletary, Sheridan Leverett, Maggie Lee, Lola Schumacher. That's a good team. And they were the only Big Ten team to take a set off Nebraska in Big Ten conference play. So UCLA was the real deal. And I got to see UCLA at least one time. So I think this team definitely has the talent. It's just a matter of how they use the talent. So I think for Kentucky to win that one showed a lot of stride and poise. And I think that Kentucky can only get better from here on out.
I heard, in the lead up to the UCLA game, Coach Skinner was talking about UCLA's size and length. Are they one of the taller teams in the country? That was kind of one of his concerns.
They actually are. They actually have a freshman who actually redshirted this year, Hazel Asselbach, I think that's her last name. She's actually 6'7", if not 6'9". She's pretty tall up there, but she did redshirt. But Mariana Singletary definitely brings a lot of height to the table when it comes to the Bruins. And like I mentioned, Maggie Lee is just a power hitter, as well as Sheridan Leverett. Their setters were quite interesting. They had Kate Duffy and Zaina Myers. I actually got to cover Zaina back when she was at Long Beach State. And then Duffy, the two actually worked well with one another. So I thought UCLA's height was pretty on display when I saw him against Long Beach State. But can't forget about their libero, Lola Schumacher. She was fantastic. She transferred from Wisconsin. She's a definite great player. So there's no doubt in my mind she's good. So I think UCLA they had some troubles early on. I think they just kind of had a tough time putting all the talent on the court together and having them mesh well with one another. So I don't think their record was indicative of the roster talent that they truly have.
Makes sense. And you see that no matter what sport it is, you just see teams that maybe don't put it together or better than what their record is, or basketball, volleyball, football, every sport just has it where teams maybe on paper should just click and just really be a dynamite team, and then for whatever reason, it just doesn't fall into place like it should, right?
Right. And for UCLA, I thought they had a good run through the Big Ten. I thought they took down some good teams. I know they had some tough losses, like one loss was to Washington. They had lost twice to Oregon, even though Oregon is a much better team than what most people give them credit for. I think UCLA just had some growing pains here and there, and I think the Bruins were still a good team in my opinion. I think, and you also got to give credit to Alfie Raft. I mean, he's been there for, I think, 3 or 4 years, and his team was hungry to try to make the NCAA tournament. Last year, they fell one win short of making it as an at-large because they finished below 500. The previous 2 years, they finished as the first few out of the NCAA tournament. So this UCLA team had to make the most of their opportunity. And when they beat Georgia Tech, I knew they were going to beat Georgia Tech, but the big thing for UCLA is that they are so dangerous when they go 5. They went 5 with Georgia Tech. They went 5 with Michigan. They went 5 with Michigan State. All those teams they wound up beating. And I think had Kentucky dropped that 4th set, which thankfully they didn't, I think that 5th set would have really put Kentucky on its heels. But I think to close off UCLA for the most part, I think UCLA was a good team that deserved to make the NCAA tournament. And something else to note is that it's so tough to win at Pauley Pavilion because unlike most of the colleges, and I don't want to use this as disrespect to UCLA, but UCLA doesn't have TerraFlex on their floors, so they don't. The big difference is that TerraFlex, it's more easy to move around, whereas if you're playing on a hardwood floor, it's not so easy to move around, and if you slip, it really hurts like the dickens. So I think UCLA. I think maybe one of the big reasons why UCLA kind of struggled against Kentucky to start was because they weren't really used to playing at Kentucky. I know they're used to playing in big time hostile environments like Penn State, but I think playing against a Kentucky team that's just red hot was kind of rung their bell early on. But it was still a good year for the Bruins, and I think that they still have a lot to be proud about.
Yeah, for sure. Now, up next tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern time, the Cinderella Cal Poly team is next for the Cats. So give us a little preview of how you think that'll play out.
Oh, yeah. So I have seen Cal Poly. I saw them in both rounds. I saw them against BYU. I saw them against USC. That team is the real deal. I'm just going to say right now, if you're not saying that Cal Poly is the real deal, then I don't know what you're doing. So Cal Poly, they just play a bunch of scrappy, relentless volleyball, and they're just so talented throughout most of their statistics. Like their pin hitters are obviously Emma Frederick. She leads the team with kills, but Kendall Bashir, she is someone I label as built different because she has a wicked topspin serve, and it really helped Cal Poly turn it around in that 5th set because USC was up 3-2, and it felt like USC had the momentum after they rallied back from being down 0-2. But when Kendall Bashir stepped to the service line, she was just ripping her serves. Even Brad Keller, the USC coach, said that Kendall Bashir can really rip her serve. So Kendall Bashir, that's probably the big X factor on Cal Poly. Even though she's 5'10", she really swings hard at the ball. Then you have Annabelle Falcon on the right side. Their middle blockers are Chloe Lelouch, who's playing her best volleyball, and also Charlotte Kelly. Interesting thing is that when I mentioned middle blockers is that one player that is not playing this year was Brecklin Pulling, who actually tore, I think it was her ACL 3 weeks before the season started. So now she's redshirting, which is unfortunate. But Charlotte Kelly has kind of been a great little security blanket for Cal Poly in terms of the middle blocker 2 position. And then Lelouch, like I mentioned, she actually just got AVCA all regional honors, which I thought was pretty darn good if you ask me. So Lelouch has definitely been I wouldn't say she's been the MVP, but she's been some of the big reasons why Cal Poly has had the success that they've had. They wound up winning the Big West Conference Championships, or the conference tournament. They beat a really good UC Davis team, which might have had their best team in program history in Division I. And they also beat Long Beach State, who was the host of said Big West Conference tournament, in the semifinals, because Cal Poly got a bye, and then Long Beach State was awaiting them after they wound up winning their first round matchup. So Cal Poly just seems to one up every single match after another. And Cal Poly's coach, Caroline Walters, she said that this win over USC was the biggest for them in terms of program history, or in terms of her coaching tenure, because they're advancing to their first Sweet 16. They're the only unseeded team remaining. They're one of 2 California teams that are remaining, and also they're one of 2 mid-majors remaining, the other being Creighton, which is always a fixture in the NCAA tournament. So this Cal Poly team is the real deal. And if Kentucky thinks they're going to walk in thinking that they're going to just demolish Cal Poly, they have another thing coming. They can't think that way. They have to take Cal Poly seriously.
Yeah. So for those not familiar with Kentucky, maybe listening and watching right now, who are the main players to watch? We're familiar with them, but who might those first timers tuning in be needing to pay attention to for Kentucky?
Yeah, you've also got, for their top players, you've got Eva Hudson, who is just a warrior. I remember her ankle, I think it was against Oklahoma, or a few matches before that. It was either Oklahoma or Tennessee. But either way, she rolled her ankle. She still stayed in the match, which was absolutely amazing. And she has just been I wouldn't say this, I hate to have to use this word, but she's been a godsend for Kentucky, because she transferred from Purdue, and she's really propelled this Kentucky team to greater heights. And then you also have Brooklyn DeLay, who's pretty much been the OG of this team. She's been with this team through the beginning till the end. So I imagine she is I think she's only a junior, if I'm not mistaken, but she's definitely been an integral part of this team. I definitely think she's really been a great little backup for Eva Hudson, because Eva Hudson can't carry this team by herself. And yes, DeLay is a junior. So, and then other players that have stepped up are Lizzie Carr in the middle. You also got Asia Thigpen, the libero who was named the SEC tournament MVP, Molly Tuozo. She has just been nails for this team. And then the setter, Cassie O'Brien. She just continues she's now part of a great little history of setters from Kentucky, because you obviously have Madison Lilly, who now she's married, and that's her maiden name, but I digress. And I think O'Brien has definitely done a great job setting the offense to greater heights. I think this Kentucky team is just absolutely incredible. So those are kind of some of your top players to watch for. And I feel I'm not missing too many. Yeah, I think that unless I see something, those are kind of your main players to watch for.
And Cassie O'Brien was basically like every week she was SEC Freshman of the Week. It seemed like it. I mean, it was kind of a surprise when she wasn't, because she just, consistently week in, week out, she, obviously the Freshman of the Year, because she's pretty much Freshman of the Week every week. Mm-hmm. If you look at the 2021 team, 2021 national championship team, and kind of compare it to this one, are they equal? I mean, this team is good enough to win it now, but are they very similar, or what are the strengths and weaknesses if you kind of look at, in your opinion, comparing this year's team to that national championship team?
So I think this year's Kentucky team is a little bit more younger just because it only has one senior in Eva Hudson. They're not using that as an excuse. They're building around her, and the future definitely looks bright for Kentucky. Now, the 2021 team is a tough team to replicate or to compare yourself against just because that team was super special. That team had a lot to play for, and the fact that that team beat Texas in the final was incredible, if you ask me. So I think for that 2021 team, I don't think that can ever be replicated, or you'll ever see anything like that. I know it was post-COVID, but honestly, what they did, it was just incredible. It was special, especially since not a lot of SEC teams before Texas joined the conference have won the national championship. Because you got to remember, Texas was part of the Big 12 before coming to the SEC. So I think for Kentucky, that 2021 team was a special type of breed right there. So I think this Kentucky team will go down in history in terms of one of the better teams that I've ever seen. And
Wow.
This year's team, I think with another year, I think this team will definitely be something special. And I know if they can win it this year, that's just an even bigger and better bonus, just because they'll send Eva Hudson off with a national championship. Because unless we get a little bit of a roster turnover, which heaven forbid that happens, this Kentucky team is going to be super special. I definitely think this team has a lot of potential for the future. As long as everyone just stays the course, this team will be really good for the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, most definitely. And so that's just high praise, for what they accomplished, because they did make history in the SEC. Like you said, be the first actual SEC team to win a championship, because Texas wasn't, in the league yet. So yeah, that's from that standpoint. And they did beat Texas in the final, beat them 3-1 that year. So fast forward to this year, and they met Texas in the final again of the SEC tournament. Did you get a chance to see that match? Because Kentucky in the regular season had went to Austin, swept Texas on their home court. That was the first time Texas had been swept at home, I think, over a decade. It had been a long time since anybody walked in and swept Texas at Texas. That's what Kentucky did. SEC tournament final, because the first time they brought the tournament back, it was in Savannah, Georgia. They hadn't played an SEC tournament since like 04, 05, been 20 years without having a tournament for the conference. Texas is up 2-0, had a couple match points, and Kentucky battles back to reverse sweep them for the SEC tournament championship, which, Texas had revenge on the mind, and they could taste it. They were this close to sweeping Kentucky for the SEC tournament championship. When you see teams get up 2-0, I don't know if there might be stats for this. You might know, if I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but when a team's up 2-0, how often do they go ahead and sweep? How often does it go to the fourth set and they win? How often does it go to a fifth set and they win? And how often do teams get reverse swept? I mean, there's probably numbers for all this, but the reverse sweep, especially for those that are new to watching it, one team has all the momentum and they're this close to knocking them out, and then the other team to battle back and win 3 straight is just unbelievable how the momentum switches. So when you see reverse sweeps happen or teams go up 2-0, what is your take on just watching these matches unfold? I guess that was a bad question, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, when a team goes up 2-0, and this is kind of what I saw when Cal Poly played at USC, a lot of emotions go through the mind. Like, if you're the team on the right side of the up 2-0, then you're thinking, all right, we have a chance to close this out. But winning that third set becomes easier said than done, just because you have to, it depends on your level opponent. Like if you're expected to be up 2-0, then you're saying, all right, all we got to do is just close off. And then maybe we could put in some of our reserves. But if you're up 2-0 against a team that you're not expected to beat, then it gets tougher because the other team comes out with a lot of hunger and a lot of desperation, and they pretty much have to try different things. So I wouldn't say it's like officially rare. I mean, in terms of the NCAA tournament, I think we've only had one reverse sweep, and that was Northern Iowa over Utah. I will also just say that it's also tough to reverse sweep just because a lot of things have to be taken into consideration. Like if a team adjusts, if a team has to flip its lineup, if a team does any adjusting by any means, like that, all that has to go into consideration. In terms of the SEC championship, you're right. Kentucky was facing, I think, 1 or 2 match points in set 3, and then they rallied to take that third set 26-24, which was massive for them. And looking at the match overall, even though Texas hit 301, Kentucky just had their way. They had 4 different players with 10 or more kills. They had Molly Tuozo with 16 digs, who I thought was big. Brooklyn Delay had a double-double. Eva Hudson was her double-double self, as well as Cassie O'Brien. And heck, Texas was on a tear with Tori Stafford. She hit 471 in that match. And you also had Abby Vanderwall and Kari Spears, both of which are promising freshmen, both totaling 15 kills, even though they hit under 200. So, and you got to remember that Ella Swindle is a national champion setter for Texas. So that was also another thing to take into consideration. And then Emma Halter, who was made history for Texas in terms of the record books, she also had a big night with 26 digs. So overall, that was just a very great win for Kentucky. I had a feeling if it went 5, I think Kentucky would have had all the momentum, and they kept up the pressure, and it was just incredible. And thank you to the SEC for acknowledging the libero position, for giving Molly Tuozo the MVP. And I think every volleyball fan and every libero defender was just all smiles and basically just doing jumping jacks and cartwheels seeing Molly get that MVP, which I thought was incredible. # justice for liberos.
That's right. Good to see them get some love, right? Because they don't get enough love, do they?
Exactly. They do all the dirty work, preventing the ball from hitting the floor. They don't score often. So for them to for libero to get MVP or to make all tournament or all anything or get any sort of honors is an absolute big thing for liberos. And I think it's great to see what the libero position can do. It's definitely evolved. I definitely think past liberos like Justine Wong-Orantes of Nebraska leading up to Lexi Rodriguez of Nebraska have kind of paved the way. Like I mentioned, Emma Halter was also big for Texas as the libero. So I think liberos like that just pave the way for future liberos going forward. And I think Molly Tuozo is doing that just as well as any other libero as well. So I think it's incredible what she's done. I think it's incredible that liberos are getting the recognition. And I imagine Molly is only like a sophomore. I'm just guessing that, but she's part of the underclassmen that will be back for this Kentucky team in the near future. She's a junior, so she's still got 1 more year. So make sure she doesn't leave by any means, Craig Skinner. Keep all those players happy.
Absolutely. So overall, we talked about Kentucky and Texas and everything that's happening. You mentioned Nebraska, and what's the best conference? What's the strongest conference in the nation still yet, in your opinion, in volleyball?
I hate to have to tell you this, but I think it's got to be the Big Ten. I mean, obviously Nebraska. I mean, if you're looking for like the true kingpin of the conference, it's obviously the Big Ten with Nebraska. But as a whole, I'd probably say the SEC, because you've got teams like Texas, you've got teams like Kentucky, Tennessee, even though they wound up being a first-round exit, which I feel bad for volunteer fans, except not really. They're still pretty strong, and Vanderbilt is kind of on the rise as well. And then Texas A&M, another team in the SEC, is in the Sweet 16. And then for the argument of the Big Ten, obviously Nebraska comes to mind. Wisconsin has had themselves a great season. USC was very promising. Purdue, Eva Hudson's former team, they have shattered my expectations. I did not think that Purdue was going to be up there this year, especially since losing a lot of their players, including Hudson. But they have shattered expectations. Like I mentioned, USC was definitely promising this year. Problem was that they were on the young side, but their future is still bright. Indiana's in the Sweet 16. And then Michigan had a great turnaround with Aaron Virtue. So I got to say it's between those two, but I give the slight edge to the Big Ten, but only by a slight edge. And don't sleep on the ACC either. I mean, the ACC hasn't really won a whole lot in terms of national championships in women's volleyball. I mean, Pitt is kind of that prime definition of so close but not close enough. And volleyball fans would love to see Pitt win and all, but the problem is that they're on the same side as Nebraska. And even last year when they were on the same side as Louisville, which made the national championship, they just couldn't get past Louisville. And I think it would be great for the city of Pittsburgh and the entire state of Pennsylvania to see them win a national championship. But unfortunately, they were kind of on the wrong side of the scoreboard, and they got to see their conference foe, who they beat twice, advance to the national championship to lose to their eventual in-state rival in Penn State. So that's another team I forgot to mention. I mean, even though Penn State had like so much going on, Penn State primarily is a good team within that Big Ten conference.
You mentioned Vanderbilt in the SEC, and that is, the Craig Skinner coaching tree. Andres Nelson was an assistant there. Azani Taylor is about to join Vanderbilt as an assistant coach. So that's
I saw that.
Coach Skinner has his own tree starting off. We had Coach Nelson on when he was assistant before he left for Vanderbilt. He was kind enough to hop on here and talk a little volleyball with us a few years ago. So that was pretty cool talking some volleyball with him. That was fun. Sure was. So tell everybody about yourself. Tell everybody about Set Pointe. Tell everybody all the work that you're doing, podcasting, online content from that standpoint.
Yeah, so Set Pointe I've been doing pretty much for, I think this is 6 years. 6 years. 6 years and strong. I first did Set Pointe back in 2019, obviously with iSports Radio as pretty much as the umbrella for Set Pointe. And the reason why I did Set Pointe is because, well, for starters, there weren't any other shows. Like I actually did a baseball show starting off with iSports Radio, but that unfortunately fell through. And then I did an all-sports show with the CEO of iSports Radio called The Defining Moment, which covered all things sports. But unfortunately, time just wasn't permitting, and time wasn't on the side of the CEO and I. And we couldn't find any free time for the both of us. And I pretty much said, well, you brought me on to iSports Radio. How come I'm not podcasting? And he said, well, we got to get you some sort of show. And he's like, well, since you know quite a bit about volleyball, why not start a volleyball show? And that's pretty much how Set Pointe came to be. And I'm trying to grow Set Pointe to pretty much my own thing, to pretty much the whole thing. I'm pretty much trying to grow Set Pointe my way to try to help not only benefit it, but iSports Radio as a whole. And obviously iSports Radio and BS3 Network are kind of like two of the same thing. It's just that I think BS3 Network, and this is no disrespect to iSports Radio and what Larry B has done, but I think BS3 Network has really gone the right direction, going with Roku, which I think you all are still part of. And then you also have like other you also talk about other things other than sports. It's no longer BS3 Sports. It's now BS3 Network, which I think is pretty cool. If you ask me, you're reviewing movies, and Ben had the weekend wrap-up show, which I thought was pretty awesome. That's kind of how I got into BS3 Network and how I would always tune in and whatnot. And then you even had the Benny Awards, which I thought was pretty nice as well. So I think for us podcasters, we're trying to get our names out there. I know you all are doing a great job with the University of Kentucky covering all of that. I'm just hoping to be that next golden standard of not only iSports Radio, but for all of volleyball. Because you look at the volleyball personalities, I'm hoping to be like the likes of Emily Eamon, Michaela Chester, Daniel Gilman, Lincoln Arneal, who covers Nebraska volleyball, and he does an excellent job. And the list goes on and on. I'm trying to be that well-known name, not just in NCAA women's volleyball, but also in NCAA men's volleyball, professional volleyball, with me covering the AVP and covering the Elite 16 that was in Newport Beach a couple months ago. I'm trying to give more fruition and more recognition to the sport of volleyball, not just on the NCAA side, but in terms of like beach volleyball, indoor volleyball, high school volleyball, junior college volleyball, all that sort of thing. So it's a tough job for me. Obviously, no sponsorships, no true notoriety, not all the much recognition, but I'm still going to go strong. I'm still going to do my thing. And no matter what anyone says or does, I'm still just going to be me and just keep doing Set Point to the best of my ability until the cows come home.
There you go. That's the mindset to have, man. You've been doing a good job for a long time, man. We've known you for a while now, and hey, you own your stuff, you know it, you own it, you're professional with it. So hey, just keep doing it, keep grinding, keep chipping away at it, and it's definitely gonna work out for sure.
I appreciate it. And I remember having you guys on my 100th episode of Set Point. It felt like yesterday when I had you two on. I had like multiple guests on. I think I had like 3 different segments with different guests. Both of you, I just appreciated having on. That it just was absolutely fun. And that pretty much paved the way to having us doing this whole collaboration and having fun and knowing about one another.
Absolutely. That was a lot of fun, man. I remember that for sure. Appreciate you reaching out and having us on that special episode.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern time, Kentucky Cal Poly. That's like 12:30 your time. You're gonna be free to watch the game. You're gonna be free to watch the match. Are you just gonna have a phone set up somewhere? How are you watching tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be free to watch the match. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Kentucky can do against Cal Poly, because like I said, Cal Poly is definitely the real deal. If you don't have the attention of, if Cal Poly doesn't have your attention right now, you better have them on your radar, because beating BYU was one thing. Beating USC on their home floor was another, because USC has not lost too many matches at home. I think they only lost one home match, and that was to Nebraska. Oh, no, they lost another one. They lost to Indiana and Purdue. So they lost 3 home matches, which is nothing too bad. I mean, all 3 of those opponents were quality opponents. It's just that when you're the only unseeded team to beat 2 seeded teams in this new format, and Cal Poly is the first team to do that, mind you, you have to have their attention, because if you go out there thinking, oh, who's this Cal Poly team? You're going to be in a bunch of hot water, because some don't even know which Cal Poly this is. Some think that this is Cal Poly Pomona, but this is Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which is in the Central Coast, but it's also in the Southern California region. So I know I said that they were the only Southern California team out there, but honestly, I still refer to them as a SoCal team, since they're in that Southern California region, and even though they're in the Central Coast. So I think it's going to be a fun match. I expect Kentucky to pull off the win. I said this on yesterday's show. I have Kentucky advancing to the Final Four, and I have them beating Cal Poly. I hate to have to pick against Cal Poly, but I think Kentucky will, and their roster will probably be just a little too much for Cal Poly. And then I also have Creighton advancing past Arizona State, which, look, this was a tough matchup to predict. Arizona State is a good team. Creighton is a good team, but I think Creighton's experience being in the Elite Eight, even though they have a first-year head coach, they still have the Ava Martin. And I think that Creighton team that I saw back when they played USC was not the Creighton team that everyone expected, because Creighton had battled illnesses and they had to shuffle their lineup. Like, if you saw my interview with Brian Rosen, he just said, yeah, we just had to shuffle our lineup. Like, and the fact that he allowed me to interview him after a sweep I'm very gracious for. But either way, Creighton, I have Creighton, Kentucky in the Elite Eight, which is kind of why I have this royal blue shirt on. But in the end, I've got Kentucky advancing to the Final Four. If you saw my bracket, well, try not to see it, Kentucky fans.
That's all right. Hey, you got to pick it the way you think it's going to go.
Yeah.
So, and I want Kentucky to win every year in March Madness, but I don't always pick them in my bracket because, I try to pick with my head or my heart,
Exactly.
And when I'm picking against them, I hope I'm wrong, but, it's just I'm picking the way I think it's going to play out sometimes. So
Right.
I understand.
Right. And on the topic of the Bluegrass, keep an eye on Louisville. I know, isn't Terry a big Louisville guy?
He's born and raised in Louisville. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Louisville.
Keep an eye on Louisville. If they get past Texas A&M and Nebraska gets past Kansas, we could be seeing a little bit of a Louisville Danny Busboom Kelly reunion, which that would be pure cinema. Every volleyball personality wants to see Louisville versus Nebraska in the Elite Eight. I know, and you got to remember, Danny Busboom Kelly coached Louisville throughout her tenure, got them to the national championship a couple times. So I think all NCAA women's volleyball fans would be salivating over that matchup. Is it possible for Louisville to beat Texas A&M? Absolutely, but it's going to be tough, especially since Texas A&M probably has some of their best roster, especially led by Logan Lindnicki. So definitely keep an eye on that, just because that's going to be a fun matchup. It's that would be Battle of the Red right there. But like I said, Nebraska's got to get past Kansas, and Louisville's got to get past Texas A&M, and then obviously Kentucky's got to get past Cal Poly before they can look at Arizona State or Creighton.
That's right. Because, like you said about Cal Poly, first of all, you got to be good in order to do what they've done. But secondly, as they're on this run, their confidence is sky high too. You've got the talent and the chemistry and the momentum. Then that extra little confidence that, hey, we just went into USC. Look what we did. They're not going to be intimidated going into Kentucky because it's rolling, and we've seen this kind of thing before. We see other sports. We see it the first couple rounds of the tournament. The 14 seed beats the 3 seed. What? And then they win again, and they're in the Sweet 16. Same kind of thing with Cal Poly. So yeah, Coach Skinner's definitely gonna have to have them focused, and don't just think you can show up and move on to the next round. So looking forward to it. Tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be fun. And, hopefully Kentucky defends home court 2 more times and moves on again. But it's definitely been a fun season, and enjoyed it every step of the way.
Yeah, and one last thing to note about Cal Poly is that they're playing with house money here. Like, they're playing with left to lose, and so much more to gain, because I think that was kind of the same thing that what happened following their win over BYU. Everyone was thinking, they were probably thinking, well, we have nothing left to lose. We just got to go out there and just play our game. And that's what they did. Even though they almost allowed USC to reverse sweep, and there was a little bit of doubt, I felt that once Cal Poly got off to that big lead in that 5th set, it was pretty much just game over from there. So I'm expecting a big barn burner between Cal Poly and Kentucky. Also, I keep an eye on SMU and Purdue and Minnesota Pitt. I mean, SMU Purdue is going to be a really good matchup just because both teams have shattered expectations. SMU is in the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history. Purdue's trying to make a return to the Elite Eight. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And then Wisconsin-Stanford is going to be another good one. Then Texas-Indiana should be a fun one. So a lot of great Sweet 16 matchups. So definitely keep an eye on that, on the Sweet 16. So, yeah, in which half of the matches will be played tomorrow, and then the other half will be played on Friday. I think tomorrow's matches will be on ESPN2, and then the Friday's matches will be on ESPN.
Good stuff, man. Teran, can't thank you enough for taking out time to hop on with us. It's always fun to catch up with you, man, and enjoy the matches over the next couple of days.
Aren't we going to talk my Chargers and whatnot?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Look, that's right, because I'm an Eagles hater. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. So, yes, I was so happy Monday to see your squad knock off the champs. I was flipping back and forth. You know, they had the Monsters Inc. version. They had the regular version. So me and my boys were like, let's just see what this is like. Because look, the Cowboys aren't playing, so it's not like I'm intensely watching it. I'm just wanting to see the Eagles lose. And so I was watching Sully and Mike Wazowski, and Jalen Hurts kept throwing interceptions to Sully. I'm like, okay. Yes, man. Congratulations, man, to the
Glad the Chargers could help out the Cowboys by any means. But that being said, the two will meet up in a couple more weeks. So
yes.
And that can have implications for both teams in terms of the playoffs. I mean, I know the Cowboys, they have the Vikings on Sunday Night Football, but the Chargers also have the Chiefs, which the Chargers could potentially end the Chiefs season, or at the very least finish with more wins than them. But it's certainly not going to be easy, especially on a short week. But yeah, I was generally surprised at what the Chargers did. I didn't see the whole game, but it was just ugly football. Both teams were turning it over. There was a sequence where Hurts turned the ball over twice in one sequence. I think he became the first quarterback to do that since 1978, back in 1978. So it was just one of those weird games. And man, the Chargers were fortunate enough to basically escape that with a win, just because any big win is a win that's going to help them get closer to the playoffs, because the AFC is jammed, and the fact that they have 9 wins right now is pretty darn good. But the gauntlet only continues to get tougher because, like I said, they've got the Chiefs at Kansas City. They've got the Cowboys at Jerry World. I just found out that the Chargers are playing the Cowboys on Saturday night, which, do we count that as a primetime game?
Yeah, it's just we're moving it over to fill the college football void. You know, they do that at the end of the year, and you know, everybody's missing the college game, waiting for the playoffs and all that, and so NFL just says we'll slide on over into Saturday to try to fill the void. I guess it counts as a primetime game. As far as the Cowboys go, I'm hoping, you know, they're not a great team. Let's be honest. You know, the defense hasn't been great for most of the season. Been giving up way too many points. You know, the Eagles lost 3 in a row. I'm happy about that. Just seeing them struggle. I think I dislike them more than any team in the NFC East, even more than them, because they haven't been a big rival over the years. It's been the Eagles and everybody, you know. So hate watching it was a lot of fun. Seeing LA continue to force those turnovers. Justin Herbert out there with a broke hand and still making plays, and that was impressive, man. And you know, and Harbaugh, he's just hilarious anyway to me. He loves him some Justin Herbert.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely think Jim Harbaugh has been a plus for the Chargers. I mean, it's good to have some sort of like I wouldn't say humbleness, but a winner who knows how to win. And you got to remember, he guided Michigan to the national championship and wound up winning it. So I think it's great to have a winning mindset. And I know it was an ugly win, but a win is a win. I'd rather the Chargers win ugly than lose pretty, because it keeps them on pace for at least a wild card spot. Also keeps them in the hunt for the AFC West title. Is it possible the Chargers can win the AFC West? It all depends on what happens with Denver.
Yeah.
And Denver's got the Packers this week. Chargers, like I said, they've got Kansas City. It's going to be a very interesting week. What is it? Were we week 15? Yeah, week 15.
Mm-hmm.
So, and nobody's on bye anymore. So now it starts to get real because playoffs are right around the corner.
Yep, it's December now, and you need to be playing your best ball now, to make that last push. If you're a top team, you want to continue to be a top team. If you're in the hunt, you try to work your way in there. It's time to, separate. And if you're a pretender, we'll find out if you're really going to, make that last push and get in there, or if you're going to kind of trip and fall over your own feet and be on the outside looking in. That's where we are. The season is flying by, man, like it always does.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, appreciate you reminding me about that. Yes, man. So congrats to the Chargers, and congrats on everything you're doing, and enjoy the matches tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun volleyball action for the next few days, man. So thank you so much, Terry.
Hey, not a problem, Vinny. I appreciate you. You have a great rest of the show. Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure. And you're welcome back on Set Pointe anytime.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Just let me know. Know.
All right.
Always. Yes, sir.
Yep. Take care.
You too. Teran Rodriguez, Set Pointe. Check him out. Friend of the show for a long time. And coming on here, dropping knowledge about Kentucky volleyball all over the NCAA, because he keeps up with it. He's all over it. Kind of like our guy, Hunter Mitchell. I think we end up getting Hunter and Teran together to talk some volleyball, because Hunter Mitchell is in Kentucky, basically doing the same thing that Teran is out there in California. So Hunter is doing a podcast now with Leah Edmond. He's been on with us way back in the day. Y'all know that we were writing on Cameron Mills' website and on his radio show. Hunter was writing and talking about volleyball way back then. So been grinding and dropping knowledge and enlightening people for a long time. So thanks again to Teran. Follow him at Teran Rodriguez 1. Follow Hunter as well if you're not doing so. Enjoy the match tomorrow, Thursday at 3:30. Coach Skinner and the Fighter Jets. Coach Skinner and the volleyball team are tweeting out excuses to get you out of work. such as excuse from work tomorrow to watch Kentucky volleyball. So just cool the way they marketed it, the way they promoted it, the way they've leaned into it, the way they've got the Big Blue Nation behind them, the way they're continuing to do so on this tournament run. As I mentioned, as we wait for Saturday, watch the volleyball. As we watch waiting for Saturday. What's going to happen Saturday? Kentucky, Indiana, Saturday night. Cats will try again to be the good team. This will be the fifth big name, high-profile name team that they will play. So, we saw Louisville and Michigan State, North Carolina, Gonzaga. Not good. Friday night. Wow. Hate to beat a dead horse, but we all just still trying to wrap our heads around what we saw down there in Nashville. And got the win over North Carolina Central last night. As everybody knows, okay, beating up on bad teams, trying to see where you are against. So the Indiana series gets renewed. We got Terrence T.B. Brown back with us. Welcome back, sir.
I got to correct you. No Terrence. It's Terry.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's my mother's maiden name. So. But yeah, you and Terry were rocking it. I didn't want to interrupt the flow. Y'all covering a little bit of everything. But yeah, man, the basketball is, men's basketball is, it's not great. It's not in a great place right now. And there's all the hullabaloo about JMI. And it was one of those things when Mitch announced the JMI partnership for NIL. That's a lot of initials to be thrown around out there, but
Hmm.
it didn't seem like there were a lot of other schools doing it the way Mitch wanted it done, which means you either are way ahead of the curve or what are you doing? And it feels just from the chatter online like this is a what are we doing kind of thing. And the first clue should have been Mitch was not that warm on NIL to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you've probably seen the same things I have. It's not a good situation because there's nobody signed for next year's class.
Yeah. And just missing on guys. And we don't even keep up recruiting like that. And it's just people that keep up with it, there's nothing to keep up with because we ain't got nobody for next year.
So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things that need to be addressed. Is the JMI deal on NIL, is that becoming a hindrance? If so, it's got to change.
And that
right?
contract is to what, 2040?
Look, it's got to change. Like if that's the reason that we are missing out on these top recruits, it has to change. There's no other way around it. I know the deal is signed for whatever. It can't continue to keep guys from getting to campus. Like it can't. It just can't. A reminder, right? We talk all the time about how the state of Mississippi, and we know what their get down was with basically racism, right? Famously, Alabama, not that progressive when it comes to race relations, right? Michigan State and Bubba Smith put a hurting on the Crimson Tide and Bear Bryant. And Bear Bryant, way back when, said, hey, I know what y'all want to do, but if we're going to keep this thing going, we have to change how we operate. Mm-hmm. And you hear Sylvester Croom and a lot of those first group of black guys that played for Alabama, they made those boys comfortable because they knew what they had to do to win. Right? The teams that were slow on that are the ones that used to be good. Mm-hmm. Texas is in that category, right? Mississippi State is in that category, right?
Mm-hmm.
My point being, if Kentucky basketball is what we say it is, I don't care. They could have signed the deal with the devil himself when the devil went down to Georgia. They got to change it because you're so not having these top recruits come. It's either JMI and the NIL situation, or these young men don't want to play for Mark Pope. Those are your only two options, right? Mm-hmm. To whiff on everybody we whiffed on. All these top dudes. Either way, that's not a sustainable deal. Either way, that's not a way to have. Now the separate discussion is we can't keep getting embarrassed like this.
Yeah,
those are two separate discussions, right? Mm-hmm. There is enough talent, I think, on this team to not lose by 35 points
mm-hmm.
to Gonzaga.
Yeah, I'm not buying the whole thing that. Oh, now this roster is terribly constructed. But no, now wait a minute, in October, this roster was meticulously assembled. So don't tell me that. If it's could somebody else come in and maybe, sure, you don't have your full complement of players, but the old bum Phillips, he can take Hizen and beat Yorn, he can take Yorn and beat Hizen. Yeah. If Tom Izzo had this group, what would we have? If I'm just saying.
And so that's my point. And those are two separate discussions, right?
Yeah.
Like how we're constructing the rock. But I'm talking about on the court. Look, you saw my tweets after the game on Friday night, right? Let me tell you something. Y'all, everybody that follows me knows, what do I do during close games?
Clean house.
What have I not done this year?
Open the pine saw.
By the time I got my stuff on the cleaning solutions and stuff against Louisville, I'm like, It's a 25-3 run. So I sat down and I chilled. And people are like, oh, you clean TV up? Absolutely not, because I'm not stressed because this ain't going the way I look.
Mm-hmm.
We talk again, college sports is all about vibes and emotion. The thing you can't have happen is the schools that you think are your rivals or the closest schools can't be doing better than you. You can't, that's not a way to survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we've talked about football, looking at Indiana, looking at Vanderbilt, had us looking at Mark Stoops a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the same token, you can't be embarrassed by Louisville. You can't give the game away against North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Gonzaga thing, that's an embarrassment. Hey, you can't lose to Indiana, and then next week you can't lose to St. John's. And all that seems feasible.
Yeah.
The kid last night for Indiana hit 10 threes.
Yeah. Lamar
Brother.
Wilkinson. Yeah.
Brother, let me tell you something. After watching what we did against Michigan State, we ain't guard the three that well.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was on Round of Shots this Sunday. It was a great show, a lot of information. Look, I don't want to say Mark Pope needs to lose his job. I don't want to say that. But what I'm going to say is you can't be 1-10 in your last 11 ranked games. You can't be embarrassed against Louisville. And it could be a situation where this team ends up 17-14 on the season. And that's not going to get it done.
Mm-mm.
That's playing on that Wednesday of the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a lot of stuff. Plus, again, losing to Louisville, losing North Carolina, throw in Indiana, throw in losing to Patino. Like
you whipped on everything.
Like that can't happen, man. Like that absolutely can't happen. And so the discussion's got to be had. And I know people say, well, you can't do after 2 years we saw enough of Billy Gillispie. And the powers that be said this can't continue.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
We all kind of knew it was over when he gave the ESPN sideline reporter. I knew right then.
Janine Edwards.
When it wasn't the University of Jody Meeks, it was something else. After he had been rude,
Yeah.
they said, "Hey, stop being rude," and then he was rude again on Big Tuesday, and I was like, "Oh, that's a wrap."
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we had Mike Pratt on this show. God rest his soul. And we asked, when did you know? He's like, yeah, we kind of knew early on, right? Like we kind of, and again, people getting on me when I bring up stuff, and that's what Mike Pratt said. We knew early on, like this, you can figure out early on if it's a fit or not.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep repeating myself. By year 3, right? By year 3, Final Four.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. And I get it. People. I had a bunch of people respond to me. Cal got blown out. Don't you remember Cal lost to St. Peter's and Cal lost to Oakland and he lost to Evansville? And I want to say, yeah, I know he did. Like, I'm not new to this. My point is we got the good before the bad.
Yeah.
That's my point, right?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't got the good part yet.
Yeah.
Like, we got Jody Meeks before he was embarrassing us on TV, right? Tubby couldn't get it done in 04 or 03, 04, 05, but that was after the championship. My point was you build up credibility when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how much credibility you have, right? That's what you can survive.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because, Billy Gillespie, let him put up a 9-16 in year one. He's making it that first year, right? Let this be a 9-16 team. Pope got to go. But at that point, Cal had built up some juice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point I was making. I know Cal got blown out. That's what I want to tell people, my brothers and sisters. I was there at the Zion Williamson game. I am well aware that was, but again, that was Zion Williamson. Did Gonzaga have anybody that looked like that?
No. Just EK killing us like
Right.
always. That's it.
Right.
He ain't no
But
Zion though.
and that was the thing. Cal at the early part, yes, Final Fours and all that kind of stuff, but it took dudes to beat us. I know West Virginia was that aberration, but we were losing to Kemba Walker and that group. It took something.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, that Jack Golke, those mediocre Kansas State teams,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
nah, man, that's
Yeah.
not how it goes, right? That's not how it goes. I want Coach Pope to be successful, right? I don't think we got a lot of information for last night's game.
Right.
I was glad he was a little vocal with Garrison and some of the other guys. But
Who was we skeptical of over the summer?
Hey.
Who did we talk about more than anybody that we was, I don't know. And
so you got to sit those people. And look,
and
I retweeted Myron Metcalf because now people are on this thing, NIL, and the kids are getting NIL, and like, well, the kid make money and it's a little bit different. And my whole point is Anthony Davis, well, no matter where he went, was going to be the number one pick. He had to find somewhere to go for 6 months, right?
mm-hmm.
You don't think it's difficult reaching those guys?
You're right.
Because we've seen one and dones at other places go through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it's hard to reach those guys? It ain't the
Right.
money.
Mm-hmm.
Because coaches can still get through without all that stuff. I think I said on Round of Shots, or maybe just in talking, like Rick Pitino, wherever at that point, had Antoine Walker not shoot 30 times a game, right? You can reach these super duper stars.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the thing is, I'm looking around the country and dudes making all this big NIL, they hustling. So what is it?
Like Cameron Boozer ain't playing for free.
Right.
I mean,
what is
and
it?
he out there killing it. Player of the year, unless he get hurt or something.
Fair to say, can this coach do it? Because if you say to me, oh, these kids with this NIL and you can't coach them, then we need someone who can, because that's the way of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my point has always been what you and I have talked about. Whatever iteration college basketball looks like, a long time ago, when Adolph Rupp was on campus, the university and the state decided we're going to be good at college basketball. Period. Right? You can go decade by decade since the 1930s. I keep telling people this. Only one team is in the top 10 of wins for every single decade. Top 10 in win percentage every single decade. It's the University of Kentucky. Why? Because no matter what the landscape looks like, Kentucky figures it out and does it better than everybody else. So back when you can win a championship with 5 guys from the state of Kentucky. Can't do it anymore. We change it up. Oh, Negroes can play? We're going to win that. Oh, they got a 3-point shot? We'll be successful with that. Oh, they got a shot clock? We'll be successful with that. It's really good if you have a veteran team. We can do that. One and dones are the thing. We will be the best at that. Because we have the will. We have to have the will to be the best at the NIL space. And again, whether it's JMI, whether it's the coach, this is unacceptable. I hope they fight. I hope they beat Indiana. But if it's another one of these things where like I told my wife, like everybody thinks because I'm not tweeting hateful things that I don't go through it. I'm a person like everybody else. And I told the wife Friday night, if I've got to hear one more Kentucky game where the commentator says, if Kentucky can trim it to 10, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the team getting pushed around.
Yeah.
And the thing is, look, we've got we got good players, very good players. We ain't got nobody put fear in dudes' hearts.
Yeah.
That's the difference. No matter what you may think about the end result, under Cal, we had dudes that put fear in people.
Mm-hmm.
No matter, again, I know, Oakland, I was here for it, watched every minute of it, rewatched a lot of it. But still, you look at what Reed Shepherd is doing for your Rockets. Like, other teams knew this dude can go for 30. We ain't got nobody like that right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's been like we don't. I told you this a couple weeks ago. We can't be the Atlanta Hawks of the mid to late 2000s with a bunch of very, very good players. That's not going to get it done because you need go get a bucket, go make a play guy. Caleb Wilson, we had him bottled up for most of the game until it was winning time.
Yeah.
Because that's what the star players do. So I get it. Understand the assignment, the NIL thing with JMI. Yeah, there's a lot swirling around. Independently, I don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah. And we don't know if we will or not. That's where we don't know if we'll be embarrassed or not. We really, based on the track record this year, we don't know if we'll be embarrassed or not, like Indiana said.
Right.
10 more threes on us, Bookerson, like he did. Was it Matt Norlander? Because was it Louisville? That was whoever beat Indiana. I think it was Louisville.
Louisville beat Indiana.
And he said Indiana is getting Kentuckied. Like that's where we are. We're the reference for when somebody's getting beat down because of what we did the night before. Indiana's getting Kentuckied is what his tweet was.
And look, people always go back to the non-win season. I will always say those dudes fought. They had a lot of really close games at the end. I think Tennessee or Alabama was really close. A shot at the end against Notre Dame. Like, those dudes fought. It just didn't click, but they fought, right? And, we talk about the unforgettables. Why they're so revered. Because they kept fighting even when they were going against Shaq and Stanley Robertson them, right? Like, they kept fighting. They kept, like, that is the prerequisite. You have to go out here and I think not that the Kentucky fans will be okay with the losses, but not trying, no, that ain't gonna get it done. This ain't it. So people get mad at whatever they want. This ain't it, man. Like, we're being doubled up in the second half.
If a dude stole the ball from you, TV, the next thing you should be thinking is chase down block. If a little guard rips you and got a breakaway, smacking stuff off the backboard because you mad that he took your lunch.
So
we were skeptical. We talked about, can he beat Amari? Can he fill that role? All we continue to hear is his potential, his positive. He's the most efficient. He hits threes. He does this. I called the Collins show last year because not credentialed anymore. I called the Collins show. Me and Katie was coming back from Nashville or something, and he's and hate to pile on, but look, everybody's struggling. But like BG, like it's easy to like bait him. It seems like he's a little thing. You can get in his head. You can mess with him. Like if me and you out there at Shawnee Park, I put my hand in your back, you smack my hand off. I put my hand in your back again. You keep smacking it off. I already know. I'm already. I got you flustered. We ain't even doing nothing. We just waiting for the ball to be inbounded, and you already flustered at me. I called and asked him. I said, "Is there ways to kind of get BG from being baited into stuff, little bitty, silly stuff?" And the answer, yeah, he's just positivity, great potential, blah blah blah. And last night, I guess even he got tired of it. We ain't at practice, but he walked out there and told him to sit down, and he didn't play in the rest of the game. I know that happened last night.
And so I think a lot of that stuff is for show, like coaches doing that and all this kind of stuff. But as fans, we want to believe that you care as much as we care.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trade-off to being a fan is you got to care as much as I care. At least give me that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand Pope wanting to be the believe in the power of positivity and using these big words and analytics. Sometimes, hey, look, I got kids. I try not to do that too often, but sometimes you got to be like, damn it, this is what we're going to do. Like sometimes you got to be bad cop.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just have to be like, no, and let these people. This is unacceptable.
Oh.
Like you, if you say, I know what the assignment is, all that good kissing babies and signing stuff is fantastic. The assignment is letting these people know what the fans feel about the name across the front of the jersey. And that's not my get down.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what we do here.
If you understand the assignment, he can't keep doing this game in and game out. None of them can. And you got to do something to show you trying to fix what we see. If we see it, then I mean, hey, you in control of fixing it. And if you ain't doing nothing, then you don't understand the assignment.
And that's my point is all these other coaches, again, like this isn't me looking back with 2020 vision. These are the reservations I had in real time in 2024 was, are we doing this for nostalgia? And, my also thing is he got a slim resume. Like he's doing this at BYU. And I'm like, even Billy G took Texas A&M to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Tubby had Tulsa and Georgia in the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Cal at UMass with Marcus Camby and a bunch of dudes who went pro and something else beat the best team I've ever seen and gave them a game in the national semifinal that Anthony Epps had to step up and win, right? And got Memphis to a title game.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No.
We know what Rick Pitino did at Providence and BU and took him from the Knicks. Eddie Sutton took Arkansas to a Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, that's the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, I had these reservations. People told me I was wrong. Right? Like, hey, you were wrong. You don't know what you're talking about, which is fine. My concern was he going to be our Kenny Payne? No, he's a head coach. Hey. This is what the third worst loss in the shot clock era? My man Corey Price putting out some stats from like 1905 or something.
Yeah.
This is the worst lost to Louisville in 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the worst bit of shooting since '08 and '07. And I'm simply like, '07, '08, that predates the guy we got rid of.
Nope.
Well, you don't know Cal lost games. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it never looked like this.
Mm-hmm.
Never looked and felt like this.
Yeah.
We're going back to that stretch where at the end it was '09. So I guess it was Billy G's last year because we're playing Tyler Hansbrough and UNC. This was my low point as a Kentucky fan. Game day was there. They did a whole segment on UNC's chances to win a championship, which they did. And then Reese Davis, whoever it was, like, what about Kentucky?
Mm.
And they chuckled and laughed. And that's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can take being bad or losing some games. I can't take being a punchline. Like you said, this team is being Kentuckied.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. Like that can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. It can't.
No.
And it can't continue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the recruiting. I'm talking about on the court. I can't watch this team get boat raced like this.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the nostalgia on his you went in on that last week, and you know the Collins show Monday, the question, I don't know if it was a caller or Tom was asking about injury updates. It kind of glitched out. He was talking about acquaintance and all that. They come back and it's, you know, no disrespect to him. There's no fault of his own, but they talked to Kevin Greavy for like 30 minutes during the Collins show. Talking about 75, they lose to Indiana by 24 in the regular season, play them again in the tournament and beat them. You know, Joe B got slapped in the head. They beat them. But they talking about all of that on the Collins show. So it's to your point, you know, coming off the heels of a 94-59 loss, Kevin Greavy.
Look, man.
I couldn't ever think about what you said the whole time I was listening.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, look, we've had bad losses under Cal, under Billy G, under Tubby, under Rick. We've had bad losses. The reason I know this feels different because now we are seeing Kevin Greavy say stuff. We are seeing Dan Issel say stuff. We're seeing Willie Cauley-Stein say stuff. Like we're like, this is how I know it's bad and different. This is bad.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm not saying Cal didn't have embarrassing losses. I'm not arguing that we shouldn't have fired him or shouldn't have parted ways or wasn't time for him to go. However you want to break that down.
Yeah.
I'm not relitigating that. It was time.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is this all feels different because the difference is, can Cal get it back? Can Tubby get it back? Can Joe B get it back?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do the job?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the difference I'm trying to talk about online. Like, yeah, it got bad, but it was really good before it got bad.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, people pushing back, 3 years. No, buddy, no. 3 years for every coach that's got a banner in Rupp Arena. 4 for Pitino, but he gets a pass because of probation for 2.
Mm-hmm.
Year 3, he gave us the greatest game in college basketball history. I know we lost, but like that's year 3.
Yeah.
And so when I reference the great Mike Pratt, yeah, we knew early on. And I don't wish bad on. Again, I want Kentucky to win by 20 points every time out. But I can't sit here and watch this, man.
Saturday night, 7:00. Hoosiers back in Lexington. And we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't even have any idea.
No clue.
We're not confident. We're not, confident to a fault. Oh yeah. We got Indiana, mark it down. We got this, no, we don't. Will they hustle? That's where we are. Will they jog? Will they sprint back on defense?
And that's the thing, man, is all these teams, all this NIL, and those dudes are throwing themselves around. Those dudes are digging in.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't do that here.
Mm-hmm.
We can't get 3 stops in a row.
Yeah.
I kept trying. I think it was Michigan State. I don't think we ever got 3 stops in a row. Not till the very end.
Mm-hmm.
3 stops.
Mm-hmm.
One thing Cal didn't get a lot of credit for, them teams play defense.
They did.
Like, we could talk about his offensive philosophy and all that kind of stuff. Those teams play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Hands up, butt down, they play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's easy to do when you got Anthony Davis. Yeah, it is, but they all play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they couldn't figure out offensively, those teams play defense. Tubby's teams play defense.
Yeah.
Rick's teams play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm glad I'm not there close to be around Indiana people should this go sideways. Just like I was glad I was not still in Louisville
Man.
by the time I was back in Louisville getting a haircut with my boy, the game was the game was over a little bit. So whatever, I don't know. I want the best, but I can't even pump sunshine because I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there ain't one thing I can point to, be like, well, this person can do X. I don't know. Because at least you could say, well, I know Oscar's going to rebound.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or with Antonio Reeves, he going to roll out of bed, give us 20.
Mm-hmm.
It might be 19, might be 21, might be 25,
Mm-hmm.
but he good for 20.
Nope.
We ain't got that.
Mm-hmm.
Even Billy, we may not win the game, but I think he's finally going to let Jody go for 45.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that a lot, right? Like, at least we got that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what we got now.
Yeah. Tough place, tough spot. Tough spot.
Yeah. Yeah. It again, I don't want it to go into conference play with Louisville, North Carolina, Indiana, and St. John's as losses.
Mm-hmm. Gonzaga 6. The 0-6. Well, yeah.
That's not great.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
So that's where I am. Like, I'm a watch, but I ain't gonna do no, because I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah.
I can't sunshine pump.
That's where we are. That's where we are, man.
Like, again, how much juice can you have after a Sweet 16 at Kentucky? Like what am I supposed to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm back to the Sweet 16, but we
Yeah.
don't get nothing for that. Like, who's got a Sweet 16 Kentucky shirt? Like, I've seen them for sale, but I'm like, who's buying that? Like, I remember, like, back when I was in school, like, Sweet 16, like, for real, like, 3 straight title games in the midst of 5 straight Elite Eights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about a Sweet 16 shirt. Who is this for? Like, I guess we won a first round game, like, whatever, man. But Sweet 16.
We'll all be there, holding our breath Saturday. So
Yeah, I'll be watching for Big Ten country, but
yeah,
man, I don't even know.
I know it. I know it. So all the best to volleyball tomorrow. Gonna watch that at 3:30, 2:30
Yeah,
your time, and see if they can keep moving on in the tournament. So
yeah, and we can do this. We got to talk about the CFP. This is why we don't like you, Notre Dame.
yes, pitiful. Just lame, man. And look, beat Miami or Texas A&M, and you're in. You had those. They're in. You're not. Beat one of them. You had two chances right there. Win one of those games. Beat
Yeah.
the U. Beat the Aggies.
Yes,
One or the other.
yes, that's my thing. Is there's that. I don't think there's a more dysfunctional conference than the ACC. Everybody, their own members are suing them. Like the ACC is the club that no one wants to be a part of. Like no one likes the ACC, especially its own member institution. Nobody wants to be there. Like North Carolina's always looking to leave. Duke wants to leave. My favorite part are the Louisville fans that hate the ACC, and I want to be like, they don't want you in there either, man. They just needed another team. That's the part that kills me. Louisville, we hate the ACC, brother. Like, because they had chancellors coming out like publicly, like, why are we doing this with Louisville? Because as Louisville's coming in, that's when they got the hookers in the dorm. That's what Louisville's got 2 coaches involved in FBI sting operations. The school itself almost lost accreditation because of what the school president was doing. And the ACC is like, why are we letting these guys in here?
Yeah.
Well, the only reason Kentucky's in the SEC is because they've been there forever. Okay, but I'm not saying that we this, that, the other, but they don't. Why would they want y'all?
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things. I love talking to my wife. Doesn't know a whole lot about the inner workings of college athletics. It is all crazy. It is all crazy. I don't know about your Katie if she understands about the bowl system and how it used to be with the poll. I had to explain. Yeah, they used to just vote for a champion. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, they used to just vote. You know, the number 1 team would be in the Rose Bowl. Number 2 would be in the Orange Bowl. 3 and 4 might play in the Sugar Bowl, or 3 might play 10 and 5 might play like. And then they would just all play the games, and then we would just vote. What?
Yeah, the split national champions and all kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah. And look, Notre Dame, you need to do. You remember when USC got left out a couple years ago in the BCS, and they showed up in that bowl game. I forget who they played, and they beat the hell out of that team, right? Georgia, a couple years ago, got left out, beat Florida State. Kirby is like, beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bowl games ever is the 1991 Cotton Bowl, made famous in the U. I remember watching this with my dad. Miami was fired up because they missed playing the Orange Bowl for a national championship. Go down to Texas in the Cotton Bowl, play the Longhorns, beat them 46-3, 200 yards, penalty yards, most of which unsportsmanlike conduct. I mean, beat the hell out of them. Like, that would be my thing is like, all right, we're all disappointed. Let's go beat the hell out of this team. Like, that would be my rallying cry. All that you feeling? We got 20 practices. Let's go ready and beat the hell out of this next team.
Yeah.
I love that. You get shafted. All right, cool. Boom. Right? Like, that's a chip you can carry. If you think that you were done wrong by the selection committee, right? I have to believe in 2014, that's part of Cal's thing. Right? They tried to screw y'all. Look, we win this game. We got to play Wichita State, the undefeated team. And everybody said y'all was going to go 40-0. And everybody got jokey jokes. Go out here. Still one of the best college basketball games I've ever seen.
Yeah,
from
boy.
start to finish. It really caught me off guard. But, like, go do that. That's what the bowl games are for. Also, here's one of my favorite things too. Vanderbilt, all of a sudden, this is making around. I'm sure you haven't seen this. Somebody from Vanderbilt's like, we won 10 games, and our reward is to play Iowa in the Rally Quest Bowl. It's like, and my favorite is somebody from Iowa responded, we went 10-2 with Deacon Jones, or Deacon Hill. And you're like, who's Deacon Hill? Exactly. Like, Iowa's got to 10 wins like 10 times since Ferentz has been there. Like, this isn't new. This is what I tried to tell Kentucky fans when we played in the Citrus Bowl a couple years ago. Like, Iowa's played in Rose Bowls.
No.
Just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one bowl I'll be watching. I'll be like, I really need y'all to beat the hell out of Vanderbilt. really need Ferentz to unleash some craziness and beat the hell out of Vanderbilt. That would do me a solid.
Oh man.
But we'll talk bowls as they get close and everything like that. But look, man, all this stuff is made up. Anyway, this is not a good way to pick a champion.
No, yeah.
There's no good way to pick a champion.
No.
Like, it's what we're used to, but there's no good way to do it. If you're not going to do like the NBA and MLB, single elimination is just not a great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you end up with somebody gets on a hot streak like Eli Manning and make you forget how mid he is.
That's right.
And I know you're talking to Teran about the NFL, baby. Hey, Niners, baby.
I know it.
There's a world they can still get to the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Got to beat Tennessee. Got to beat Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. And Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers is as old as us, dude. Did you know that? Like, I knew he was older.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was 44.
44. Been sitting for 5 years.
I can't look, man. This is what I was saying when Tom Brady was still 40, because he's exactly my age,
Mm-hmm.
and even LeBron now. I can't think of a worse situation than to be our age around some 20-year-olds. Their music is all loud. They talking all loud. Like that's not. But then again, Phillip Rivers got 15 kids, so you gotta do something.
That's right. Yes.
So we got the Colts with 50-year-old Phillip Rivers.
Uh-huh.
We got the Bears, and I'm still not sold on Caleb Williams. Get the Titans, and then that sets up. It could be first seed on the line when San Francisco and Seattle play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
Interesting. It's December. It's time to
We
playing your best ball. That's what
we getting people back and healthy. Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, yeah. That's
my dream. Win out, get that 1 seed, and then just stay in San Francisco. 'Cause that's where the Super Bowl is.
Man.
Hey, if they win Super Bowl in San Francisco, that's gonna hit me like crack cocaine.
Oh boy.
I'll be like LT out here, man. Woo!
Gonna be insufferable, man.
Oh yeah. I'm like, if they get to the Super Bowl, they winning it. Because the Chiefs won't be there.
So there you go. There it is.
All right. I know we need to wrap it up, but yeah, I got to talk about the Niners a little bit. I'm getting to be excited, and they coming back, and whoo.
Mm-hmm. It's falling into place, man. They weathered all those storms, so yeah, good for them, man. Good for them.
Plus, if we play the Packers in the playoffs and put them out, I'm gonna lose all of our Packer friends.
Yeah.
I told you, like, because I follow a bunch of them, right? And they, look at Purdy when he had those interceptions the other day. And I'm like, y'all don't remember Jordan Love throwing interception? Like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Green Bay Packer fans talk about quarterbacks throwing bad interceptions.
They need to sit that out. They've seen a few in their day.
We have all seen, even when the Lions were terrible, Brett Favre throwing YOLO balls in the Pontiac Silverdome.
Mm-hmm.
And the DBs being like, bloop, catching like a punt. Anyway, I know we need to wrap it up, but I'm excited.
Oh man, another fun one, y'all. Thanks to TV. Thanks to Teran Rodriguez. Watching volleyball and basketball and things in between. So appreciate y'all checking it out. Listen, watch, subscribe, give us a little 5 stars or give a little rating and spread the word. Oh, that word of mouth still works too. So we'll hop on off of here and we'll holler at everybody later on Cast Talk Wednesday. See everybody later.